Something we've been asked to help clients with, particularly over the last 18 months, is virtual presenting. Whether that's for webinars, virtual events, presenting to the media or customers, and also presenting internally to colleagues. And we thought it would be a useful topic to cover in a vlog because we can offer virtual advice for virtual presenting scenarios. So when you present virtually, you're under more of a microscope because you're on a screen. There's no escape, you can't divert attention, and your facial expressions say even more than usual because the audience is watching you very close up. Being on camera often makes presenters nervous and self-conscious, but I'm hoping that these tips will help to prepare you and lessen those nerves. There's really 3 key things to think about when you're presenting over a screen, and they are how you present yourself, how you carry yourself, and how you treat the audience. So I'll start with the last one first, how you treat your audience, because actually that's the most important. And if you get that wrong, the rest doesn't really matter. How you treat your audience isn't only about what you're saying to them, which clearly needs to be relevant, but it's about how you come across to them. So you might naturally speak very loudly, you might gesticulate a lot, or you might talk quickly. And on camera, all of those things are accentuated and they can be uncomfortable for the audience. If, for example, your delivery is very loud and assertive, they might feel intimidated. Speaking too slowly can appear patronising, and your audience can quickly feel disengaged if they can't keep up with you. A great example of this actually is if you've ever watched children's TV with presenters who are super enthusiastic, they're animated, they're over the top, they've got loud voices, they exaggerate their facial expressions, and it's all appealing to their audience. Children love and engage with this, but to adults, it would be irritating and superficial. So we have to be mindful of how we come across. We also need to remember that not all viewers' first language will be the language you're speaking. So pace your delivery so that everyone can understand you. And that's something to think about when you write your scripts too. Think about whether the words you use will be universally understood. So working on the way you speak on camera, your tone, your volume, your pace is really important. Energy is also important in any presentation, whether that's in person or virtual, but the balance is trickier to find on camera. In person, you can move around a lot, you can use your hands a lot, you can vary your speaking volume, and it can still come across as genuine enthusiasm. But on camera, it's got to be more subtle. So placing emphasis on words, changes in pace, pausing, and of course in post-production, things like music and editing can maintain or inject energy. When it comes to how you carry yourself, what I mean is how you physically look on camera and how much authority you project from the level of confidence that comes across. So if we start with how you dress, if you were presenting in person at a professional seminar, you might turn up in formal business wear, and the audience might well be dressed the same. With virtual events, we need to think about where the audience will be watching from and if your choice of clothing feels appropriate for that. On camera, unless you're going for a very corporate feel, you can afford to be a bit more relaxed because you're speaking to a viewer through a screen directly to them. Along the same lines, the backdrop you use should also be appropriate. We see a lot of virtual backgrounds being used where if the person moves, their hair or their ear disappears. Now this is fine for Zoom calls and day-to-day communications, but we need to think about whether it's a good representation of your brand for external communications. If you don't have a backdrop that has the right look and feel for your presentation, consider maybe hiring a room or using a green screen so that you can create the right atmosphere. Finally, your presenting style determines how safe viewers feel watching you. Your confidence on camera communicates your authority. If you get it right, you'll have the viewer's trust. So the best thing to do for that is to practice in front of the mirror a lot, or even better with someone you feel comfortable with. Ask them to pick up on things like facial expressions, posture, distracting repetitive movements like hair flicking, overused words. All these things impact how you're perceived and influence your credibility. hope these pointers have been useful. As a very quick recap, remember to respect your audience, present yourself appropriately, and really work on your delivery, because when you're under that microscope, you want to get it right. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.